the relentless landscape of modern life, we all know the crushing weight. You see it in the blank page staring back at you, in the dusty running shoes lying forgotten in the corner, or in the untouched cover of that book begging for your attention. It's the shadow of procrastination, a thick fog wrapping around our noblest intentions. You know what you should do. More importantly, you want to do it. But that initial barrier, that colossal first step, rises like an insurmountable mountain, mocking any attempt to climb it. What if I told you that overcoming this isn't about having superhuman willpower? What if the secret to building the life, the career, or the wealth you want isn't about massive action, but about mastering the art of starting? If you've ever felt paralyzed by the sheer size of your goals, stick with me. By the end of this video, I'm going to share a deceptively simple psychological framework that will dismantle your resistance, shatter procrastination, and forge unstoppable momentum for any habit you desire. It's called the 2-minute rule, and it changes everything. Let's be honest. Procrastination is not a character flaw. It's not an admission of inherent laziness. It's a silent battle fought in the most intimate corners of our minds, where grand ambitions wither under the weight of overwhelming. The truth is, we are caught in a trap, a fundamental misunderstanding of how momentum is built and how our own brains are architected to resist change. We fix our eyes on the monumental objective: running a marathon, writing a novel, launching a business, mastering a new skill. The vastness of the task paralyzes us. We freeze. Before we even tie our shoelaces or turn the first page, the mind surrenders. The distance between who we are and who we want to be seems like an unbridgeable abyss, and internal resistance screams, "Too much effort. It's not worth it." But here is where we flip the script. This strategy doesn't demand hours of grueling dedication or a sudden burst of inspiration. It's an art that manipulates a core principle of human psychology, persuading your brain to simply begin. The 2-minute rule, immortalized by author James Clear in his seminal book Atomic Habits, is not a commandment to complete your entire goal in a mere 120 seconds. It is a philosophy that transforms the start of any new habit into an action so incredibly easy, so fast, that it becomes literally impossible to refuse. The premise is crystal clear. When embarking on a new habit, the initial action must take less than 2 minutes to execute. That's it. 2 minutes. We aren't talking about the complete habit itself. We are talking about the gateway to the habit. The primary purpose of the 2-minute rule is to reduce the friction of starting to a point of near non-existence. It transmutes a daunting task into an effortless threshold. Let's be unequivocal. The goal is not to limit your activity to just 200. If your goal is read a book every day, your 2-minute rule is not read for 2 minutes. It is, almost comically, read 1 page. If your goal is run 5 miles, your 2-minute rule is put on my running shoes. If you yearn to write a novel, your 2-minute rule is open a blank document and type a single sentence. Notice how each of these actions is almost absurdly small, laughably simple, and that is exactly where their power lies. So, why does this seemingly insignificant approach operate with such efficacy, while grandiose resolutions frequently disintegrate? It leverages several foundational psychological principles. First, it confronts the problem of inertia. Newton's first law of motion dictates that an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. This applies perfectly to habits. The greatest obstacle isn't the task itself. It's overcoming inertia, the state of inaction. The 2-minute rule provides that tiny yet crucial unbalanced force needed to propel us. Once in motion, it is infinitely easier to continue than it was to start. Think about it. Once your running shoes are tied, are you really going to take them off without stepping outside? Second, it eradicates friction. Our brains are efficiency machines, relentlessly seeking to conserve energy. Any perceived effort generates friction, an invisible force holding us back. Third, it builds identity-based habits. True behavioral metamorphosis isn't just about achieving results. It's about becoming the type of person who achieves those results. Every time you successfully execute your 2-minute action, you cast a vote for the person you aspire to be. Put on your running shoes? You cast a vote for being a runner. Open your book. You cast a vote for being a reader. These small votes accumulate with relentless force, altering your self-perception. Fourth, it capitalizes on the power of small wins. With every completion of your 2-minute task, you experience a tiny, palpable sense of accomplishment. This triggers the release of dopamine, the brain's reward neurotransmitter, reinforcing the behavior and exponentially increasing the likelihood you'll repeat it. You are training your brain to associate the habit with success, rather than dread. Now, before we look at exactly how to apply this to your wealth, your career, and your health, if you're finding value in this concept, hit the like button right now. It tells the algorithm that this is the kind of high-value content you want to see, and it helps us bring more of it to you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Mental Capital. We are building a community of people dedicated to mastering their minds and their money. Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. Let's dive into practical applications spanning various domains of your existence. For physical exercise, your goal is to train. For learning or career development, your goal is to study a new high-income skill for an hour. The 2-minute rule is, open your course app or textbook. Just accessing the resource is often enough to ignite your curiosity. You read a sentence, then a paragraph, and before you know it, you're immersed in a lesson, carried by the current of learning. For writing or content creation, your goal is to write 500 words for your blog or business proposal. The 2-minute rule is, open your text editor and type one sentence. The blank page can be a paralyzing terror, but typing just one sentence breaks the spell. You now have an anchor and the path for more ideas opens up. For wealth and finances, your ambition is to overhaul your budget and invest consistently. The 2-minute rule is, log into your banking app and check one balance, or automate a $5 transfer. Starting with such a manageable task makes the larger goal of financial freedom less intimidating. It's the domino effect of minimal action. It is crucial to clarify what the 2-minute rule is not. It is not a sneaky trick to make you do something you hate for 2 minutes and then stop. It is a surgical strategy to initiate action. However, there are subtle traps to avoid. A frequent mistake is making your start too complex. If your 2-minute rule for exercise is do 10 push-ups, and you are particularly exhausted, that might still feel. Another pitfall is the belief that 2 minutes are sufficient for significant progress. While 2 minutes of concentrated effort are undoubtedly superior to 0, the true alchemy of the rule lies in its capacity to transition you into deeper work. The 2-minute rule is the ignition key, the initial spark, not the entire journey. So, how do you scale once you've mastered the 2-minute start? After consistently executing your action for a few days or weeks, so what will your 2-minute action be today? Identify a habit you've been struggling with. Fragment your first step into something so ridiculously simple it takes less than 120 seconds. Then do it. Right now. Don't wait. For those who feel the resonance of this strategy, for those truly ready to forge unstoppable momentum in their wealth, health, and lives, the journey begins with that monumental first step. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is your 2-minute habit going to be? Commit to it right now in the comments. Subscribe to Mental Capital for more strategies to master your life, and I'll see you in the next video.